Hey guys, it's Jake with Market Leader Podcast. We are here with, you've probably seen him all over the place. He's like doing a really big blitz right now, and you've probably seen it around. David Carroll is here with Dope Marketing, and we're going to be diving into direct mail and all sorts of things we can do to really hit in the neighborhood side. Dave, do you want to go ahead and kind of introduce yourself and what you guys do?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm just sharing this out live too.
Sure.
My name is Dave Carroll. I'm the CEO of a little company called Dope Marketing. What we do at Dope Marketing is we make automated direct mail simple. What we have found at Dope is a lot of people aren't focused on direct mail. I got some good news for you guys. It's not dead. It's not gone. And actually, it's one of the marketing channels that you can actually guarantee on, because unlike, a lot of power in digital. We run a lot of digital for Dope Marketing too, but Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, doesn't matter. You're as in control of those platforms as you're in control. You can't guarantee if the algorithm's going to heavily favor on you this week, or if you're turning the right dials or not, if Zuckerberg's just pissed off and no one's getting any traffic this week or whatever. With direct mail, what we can guarantee is rain, sleet, hail, snow, the mail's coming 6 days a week. So that's what we focus on.
I love it. So a lot of contractors, when they first hear direct mail, usually they're hearing about it from someone who is getting really good success with it. If you know Slavic, Paris Painting, a lot of these guys are really kind of tout that they built their stuff off of direct mail. And they're really talking about, a lot of guys don't know the specifics of it. They think direct mail is EDDM. And you guys have kind of pioneered a whole new approach to it. Can you kind of explain that a little bit for us?
Absolutely. And I'll tell you the reason why we did it too. So that pain of why we figured this out is because I've owned a power washing, gutter cleaning, window cleaning, and Christmas light business for 13 years here in the Twin Cities. I've been phased out of it for 6 years. We've done 7 figures for the past 7 years, but I don't know the names of the people that work in that business. I don't know the jobs that go. I don't even run the marketing. We have an agency that does that stuff. But I learned over the years that, data tells a story, and that, when you look at Harvard Business School did a study about it takes 7 to 11 touches to get a cold consumer to remember your brand. And touches have different values. Seeing a truck, seeing a t-shirt at a gas station, seeing a yard sign, seeing a Facebook ad, searching something on Google, or putting something in someone's hand, those touches have different values. And what we found at Dope Marketing is that direct mail, I used it. I'm like Nick Slavic. I mean, we preach that I grew that business using EDDM and sending targeted lists and getting in front of people. But a lot of those strategies are from the year I was born. They're from 1985, and they haven't really been innovated or looked at or improved upon. And what we saw at Dope Marketing, I set out about 4 years ago to build a piece of software that would automate direct mail for the home service space. Just make it easy. Because I still got paper cuts from this shit. I've sent millions upon millions of pieces of direct mail over the past 13 years for my cleaning company. And it's hard getting a list, cleaning the list up, dealing with the designer, figuring out your call tracking and where you're pointing your QR code, then getting it all printed, then dealing with Karen at the post office. It's a job. It's difficult. What we found at Dope Marketing, there's just a little bit different strategy. It's not this spray and pray where you shotgun mail all across town with EDDM or just send it to everyone in a zip code. You kind of sit around and pray to baby Jesus, the great pumpkin, whoever you're saying your thank yous to at night. And it's like, you just hope that it works because it was so expensive. At Dope, what we try to do is, Dope stands for data on previous engagement. And what that has to do with direct mail is, we are focused on getting you more jobs, more reviews, more referrals, and more recognition from the neighbors of your current jobs. Because the D in Dope stands for data. You're already doing a lot of cool stuff in your business and you have data. What if you could make it easier with direct mail to get more jobs or more referrals in those neighborhoods you're already working in without lifting a finger? That's what we focus on with direct mail.
Yeah, so it's not because you hear a lot of times okay, to get started in direct mail, it's super expensive. You have to basically drink the Kool-Aid. You've got to be committed to spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month and wait several months and then maybe you'll do it, right? I've heard that so many times.
Totally, and that used to be the case.
Yeah, but you guys have kind of figured out a way to shrink it down. You know what I mean? So
Automated,
it's not necessarily the case anymore. Yeah.
No minimum order with us. You can get on our platform and send one postcard, one handwritten note, one box of cookies or a gift box, or you can send it to your whole list. So the idea is You think about neighbors, and this goes into the strategy, the question you're asking before, like, what's the strategy? How does all this work? Well, we like to look at dope like when you're working in a neighborhood, you want to really focus on the neighbors because you're in that neighborhood solving a problem. And so the idea is that even though neighbors, like, they might not hang out every night, their kids might not play every weekend, they might not be passing a cup of sugar through the window or what, maybe you just don't like your neighbor. But the thing is, you have a lot in common. When you look at home buyers, when people are assessing neighborhoods, they are purchasing a home in a neighborhood they can afford. And there's usually like an average age range or kids of a certain age in a neighborhood. So there's one commonality. But let's go to what us contractors and home service people really care about. You're dealing with people that live in a home very similar to the same value that was built around the same year of the same materials. That's what really matters. And so regardless of income, credit score, how many kids they got, how long their grass is, what color their car is, all this crazy marketing avatar stuff that you can get very granular with, the science is that if you simply do a good job of educating the neighbors who you are, what makes you who you are, what you're doing, what you've done previously, and what problems you solve. Like I always like to say, like, homeowners have 100 problems. You solve 4 of them perfectly. What are your 4? Like, you can't solve the whole world's problems, but if you can look at the education of a customer and putting something in their hands, one of our most simple strategies, it's called the brick by brick playbook. When you mark a job approved in any CRM you're using, we integrate with all of them. When you mark a job approved, it triggers a postcard every week for 4 weeks in a row and says, hey, I'm Jake from Jake's Painting. Guess what? I just helped your neighbor. Here's what we helped your neighbor with. Here's a Google review of someone else telling you how great we are. Here's a special offer to tie this thing up with a bow. And you trigger that simply by moving a status in your CRM, and it does 25 postcards every week for 4 weeks in a row to the neighbors. And that, when you go to direct mail costing thousands of dollars, you can do that on our platform for like $70 to $120, that whole cycle.
Right. And so you're going deeper with a fewer like people. You don't have to hit, because with EDDM, you have to hit whole mail routes and cover wide areas. This is like the sniper approach.
Straight up.
You're going much deeper. And it also means that's easier to get started from nothing.
We have 4 different packages. We're actually very excited because depending on if you're watching this live or you're catching the replay in a couple weeks, Dope 2.0 releases February 24th. And it goes into what you were just saying. Like, we have a couple different packages or options that are very entry level to get started. We have clients spending a couple $100 a month on direct mail. We have clients spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on direct mail and handwritten note and gift boxes. What I get really excited about right now, Jake, we're in February of 2023. Whatever anyone says, and I'm not Mr. Political Conspiracy Theory, none of it, but like, dude, there hasn't been a recession, a real one, since 2008. We had whatever that COVID fart of what was going on with the economy, but like
COVID fart. Yeah.
It's coming. I mean, like, the economy is going to have some type of downturn. And what I like to talk about right now, Jake, it's recession-proof marketing. It's taking, when you look at a marketing dollar and I'm a contractor. Dude, what's my ROI? Jake, you want $1? When am I going to get it back? How am I going to get it back? What am I going to make? You look at that marketing dollar. And if you increase the amount that you spend on building awareness, building trust, building reputation, I like to say it's 70 cents of that marketing dollar should be spent making someone raise their hand, warming them up, getting them aware of your business, the problems you solve, what you do, how you do it differently, what makes you you. 70 cents of that marketing dollar spent there. The other 30 cents that you're spending on the conversion, the lead gen, the follow-up in that area will convert at a higher rate. Marketing right now is not about taking over the world. When you go into a year like 2023 with all the things we've seen, I get it. You're trying to grow your business. Me too. I'm with you. But it's done strategically. You have to let the data in your business tell a story. Focus on the people that are consistent. So like, I'm in Minneapolis. I know for my cleaning company, we like to work on people's homes that have a home over $500,000. It's over 3,500 square feet, and it's not a brand new home. It's more than 4 years old. When we look at the neighborhoods that we're working in, this is how we leverage Dope for my cleaning company. We look at the neighborhoods we're currently working in. We eliminate the people we've done work for, and we set up these strategies I'm talking about to hit the neighbors of the jobs we did before, because it's logic, it's data. They are more likely to convert, or it's better to get an ROI to invest those marketing dollars or those pennies on those touches to raise the awareness in the neighborhood. We've been open 13 years. I got a lot of data, but even for those of you watching them, been open a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, your data in your CRM will tell a story. We'll talk about an exercise that you guys can do in a second that I can share that'll show you how to kind of extrapolate some of that stuff out. But right now, Jake, it's the consistency in marketing that's going to grow your business. It's not spending $100,000 on marketing to shotgun grow.
Yes, I forget the term. It was like spray and pray marketing. Like it was hit it and quit it, right? Yeah. Hit it and quit it marketing. Like you're not, especially right now, it's not going to happen. We have the data too. And this is where I'm actually getting really excited. I owned and sold a painting company, and like, man, if this existed back when I had it, this would be something that I would be seriously looking at right now, because as social is continuously removing targeting options, right? It's completely different. Yeah. It's not hyper targeting anymore, right? Yeah. It's much more big. And now it's almost like the opposite is happening with direct mail, where now you have more ability than ever to target specific neighborhoods. You can't target houses above $500,000 on Facebook anymore. You can barely even target people like behaviors that are in line with those people. Like they're continuously removing those options.
This is where I kind of got, if any of you guys watching know Dennis Yu, my boy Dennis, we got, this is where Dennis and I connected about 7 years ago. We had figured out a way when Facebook started removing that stuff. We would grab direct mail lists, which I know a guy who's got those. We would append aged data to it. So we'd grab a list of people with a credit score, with a home value, with a whatever, hygiene those up, upload them into Facebook. We were getting like 80, 90% match rates when they removed targeting. And it's that same science right now. Look, cross-channel marketing, omni-marketing, multi-touch marketing, whatever you want to call it, all means the same thing. You need to be getting in front of people. I always like to tell this story about Home Depot. So like Jake and Dave go to Home Depot. We're pulling up and we're going to look at a lawnmower. We pull up, we see the sign when we pull up to the thing. We go in Home Depot, we're going to buy the lawnmower, but life happens. Dave's wife calls him and says, you got to take the kids to soccer. We forgot Dave and Jake got to leave. What happens when they leave? They got handed a flyer when they were walking out. They drove and they got onto the freeway. They saw a billboard. They got off the freeway. Jake reached in his mailbox. He got the postcard. Dave walks in his house. He sees the TV commercial. God forbid Dave's get on his phone and the lawnmower is following Dave around. They used to take $10 million to do that. You had to be like a Fortune 500 company to execute this crazy cross-channel marketing strategy. And now it's like, you just look at the data in your business. And I'll tell you how to do this in a second. You look at the data in your business, and let's go through it now. Go to your CRM. Download the jobs you did last year in a spreadsheet. Take the spreadsheet, highlight the whole thing, sort it by zip code. Take the number one zip code you did jobs in. 70% of your marketing budget this year should be spent in that zip code. There's no reason not to, because the data is telling a story. You're doing work in that area for a reason. And that science isn't exact. You're a bigger company doing the top 3, like whatever. But if you want to look at your marketing dollars and implement a cross-channel marketing campaign, your website has to look like your truck wrap, has to look like your door hangers, has to look like your Facebook ad, has to look like your direct mail. Because what will happen, Harvard, Jake, you went to Harvard like me, right? Of course,
totally.
None of us,
multiple times.
Exactly. Top 10 of the class. None of us home service business owners probably went to Harvard. And the idea is that Harvard does these studies so we can steal like an artist and say, okay, for someone to recognize my business, I simply have to touch them in different ways to fill up. Think about it like a thermometer raising, and the top is the hottest level of awareness that you're doing. If you know for some reason you're doing something right in a certain area, you have so much opportunity to let the data in your business tell a story and just focus on getting more touches. Put the yard signs on the stop signs or in the gas stations coming out of those neighborhoods. Have a direct mail campaign running. But to your point of the Facebook targeting going away, you can take the list that we're mailing to, we'll give it to you, upload the thing into Facebook and show them ads. I mean, it's a no-brainer on every single platform. Touches will have value, but I'm very, very adamant. I get very excited about the fact that like postcards are tiny little billboards. And let's just go through some logic. If Dave's Painting was a company in Jake's hometown and Jake had never heard of Dave's Painting, and one path was Dave's like randomly boosting a Facebook post, maybe doing a bid in that neighborhood, throwing out some door hangers, like whatever. That's path 1. Or path 2 is Jake put a postcard in Dave's mailbox once a week for 4 weeks in a row, a tiny little billboard to a very targeted list of people, is list 1 or list 2 going to know who Jake is better?
Right.
Yeah. So it's just logic.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. And also there's Harvard studies. I don't know if you guys saw this. Did you see the study they did in 2008?
Which one?
The companies that continued to market and the companies that did not market, stopped marketing during that time, and how the companies that continued to market grew at a 42% faster rate than standard in terms of market share that they took over, as long as they continued to market during that time. And now it doesn't, and that was in 2008. It cost a lot more to market back then. You couldn't have this bite-sized style marketing where you are just hitting one particular zip code, and you can do it with just a couple $100 a month, and hit it on everywhere. Also with the touch points, right? So one misconceived notion with that is, oh, they need to see your brand. What is it? 7-11 times, something like that. So they'll just put up a billboard and say, yeah, they're going to see it 11 times.
Yeah,
right, to do it. That's not the way it works, man. They've got to see you in 7 different places.
Channels. Yep.
Because you build the perception that you are huge. It's subconscious too. It's not that they're looking at it and being, oh yeah, Jake's painting is absolutely huge right now. It's like subconscious when they see your direct mail, when they see your Facebook ad, when they pass by your truck, when they see your yard sign. Like that's 4 touches right there. You're already starting to build this subconscious thing of, oh, these guys are everywhere.
So I always like to say, perception outweighs reality, but a first impression lasts forever. And as long as you do what you say you're going to do, you could be a 3-year-old business and you got 3 gigantic companies in town. But if you just show up, give a fair estimate, do the work like you say you're going to do, and don't collect a check until you do that, what's the difference between you and this crazy established company when you can give the perception in one tighter area that you're huge? People want to buy. Again, go back to the cliches of success. Who do people buy from? They buy from who they know, who they like, and who they trust. And if you get someone to know you, you warm them up. Maybe you got a company mascot, or it's a picture of you and your kids, or the media, the content that you're putting in front of them. We're in the most powerful age in the world right now, with the ability to be able to literally, how many people, everyone watching this, live, replay, doesn't matter. Think of all the people you only know from the internet. You probably have deeper relationships with people that you know on the internet than people you've actually known your whole life in person. You can create that experience as a business owner, getting people to know you, to understand you, what you're about, your core values, your brand, sharing these different things. And when you continue to just build up that reputation, your job as a business owner is keeping up on best practices. Best practices going into a year like 2023 is figuring out, you started a business because you know people have problems. You know you can solve those. How can you look at the data in your business and say, I want to grow this year, but I want to grow in the right way. I want to bring on the right customers. If you're using a CRM, which if you're not, you should be. If you're using a CRM, that data is there just from last year, and you can learn a lot from it.
Dave, tell me about Dope 2.0.
Yeah.
So you guys, I've been seeing, because I've seen your reels and everything like crazy. You guys are announcing this really soon. If you're on the live, if you're on the podcast, it may already be out. Yep. So you're hearing this stuff. You're like, okay, this looks cool. Now, I know that you guys have put together kind of like a brand new approach to it that is kind of, we were talking about earlier, and it's kind of mind-blowing, getting me super excited about it. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
So we've been open. We're going into our 3rd year in business with Dope. And over the past 2 years, we learned a lot. We grew really fast. We have a sticky brand. We get in front of people, and we brought on a ton of clients, honestly, faster than we were prepared to. We had to redo our whole onboarding process, look at the data, go through what was working, what wasn't. For anyone who scaled a business, it's that pain. It's that hairline pain, the shit that pushes it back. And so what we learned was that there are industry-specific strategies. At Dope, we coined a term. We call them playbooks now. There are playbooks that we learned that are based on different triggers in a business, emotions you're trying to create, objectives that you're trying to meet. And we encompass Dope 2.0 around these strategies. So we have a couple features that lead towards the strategies. We've been testing this stuff for about 6 months with my company, with about 50 of our power users, kind of getting some case studies for everyone and going through this stuff. But Dope 2.0 really encompasses, all the good things that we do, but there's a different level of tracking, reporting, and metrics. So before I even get into any features, What we have the ability to do now is when you send mail through Dope, fair to say we have the addresses where all the postcards went that we sent. At any time, you can upload or do a direct connection with your CRM, see either leads or jobs that you've closed, and attribute back the direct mail touches to those jobs. So let's say you mailed with us for 90 days. You can take your jobs that you've closed for the past 90 days and see how many postcards you've sent to each house, where they're at in your cycles, are they responding? And we don't ever like to say like all the credit comes from direct mail by any means, but the idea is like give attribution where it's due. We had a client last year. These guys, bigger case study. These guys spent, I think, like $100,000 with us last year, sending mail, about 10 grand a month. These guys generated 2,400 leads. They closed about 850 jobs. And that was for their business. That's what they did. They had like a 35% close rate. We found that we sent, out of those 2,400 leads, we sent direct mail to 350 of those 2,400 leads. And of those 350 people, they had 850 jobs that they closed out of the 2,400. So I want to say, yeah, it was like a 35% close rate for the business. Mm-hmm. We sent direct mail to, it was like 350 of those leads, of those 2,400 people. They closed 156 jobs from the leads that we sent direct mail to. This company spent like $100,000. They credited back, postcards were sent to $2.2 million worth of work that they were going to. And we have huge case studies like that. We have small ones, but the match back, the attribution, the reporting is the number one feature that we're coming out with, because you got to see this shit works. It's important. And so to keep going with the matchback tool, we have, of course, like call tracking, but our hot leads, our QR codes. What we did, fair to say everyone's a little more educated than they were 3 years ago about QR codes and using them in the world.
Yeah, I think so.
Somewhat fair to say. So what we did is, let's say Jake wants to send a mailing to 100 people. You can turn it into what we call a hot lead. It creates an individual QR code for each person on the mailing. So when Dave scans the mailer for Jake, Jake gets a text message that say, Dave Carroll at 123 Main Street just scanned your mail. So now take it further. The triggers, the workflows, the prospecting, like the blue ocean that can happen there. Again, our job is keeping up on best practices. So I was up late one night, just kind of going through some shit. And I was thinking about like, where's the level of trackability with a QR code? You know, you go to a restaurant, Jake and Dave are at a table. We both scan the QR code. You don't know who did that. How do we know who scanned a QR code? Well, you associate it with an address where you sent mail. Now they scan the code. Now we know they sent it. It's just a webhook trigger. So imagine that can trigger a text message, an email at the opt-in if it's your customer list. A lot of power there. So the hot leads are really important. Neighborhood Blitz, we've had that for about 2 years since we launched. We added filtering to Neighborhood Blitz. So now you can filter by like home value, square footage, length of residence, all these different things. Whether you just want to say, I want the nearest 25 people to this address that match this criteria, you can do that. You can also do it where I want to draw a shape and I want to filter out only the people that match the criteria in that shape for like home value, year the house was built, you know, things that as contractors, as home service professionals, we care about. Of course, the handwritten direct mail, that's going crazy. We got some amazing strategies and case studies. We came out, so I was talking about playbooks. We have a playbook we call Mr. Rogers. And what Mr. Rogers does is Jake marks a job approved. It sends 10 handwritten notes to the neighbors of, hey, Dave, just want to let you know we're going to be working on your neighbor's house next week. If you have questions, if you have a same or similar problem that we've identified in your neighborhood, just give us a call. You'll see the trucks. We'll be around, no pressure, whatever. That triggers the first one. So you build that reputation. And then there's some other strategies that go into it, but it starts with a handwritten piece. I get really excited about handwritten direct mail. It's like a 99% open rate, super intimate. If anyone follows like Anderson Windows, the stuff they do is crazy. And we still like an artist. We look at that stuff and kind of model off of these great creative minds that are doing cool things.
Yeah, I think handwritten is possibly the most slept on piece here. I remember seeing this. It was probably 3 years ago. There was a post that went viral. It was actually on Reddit. And it was someone who had gotten their house painted by like 5-Star Painting. And they took a picture of a handwritten note that 5-Star Painting had given them. And it was just a handwritten note saying, hey, thank you. And the person was like, this was incredible, right? Like this company is amazing. Look what they left me. And it went viral because it was so good. And I was like, okay, handwritten has a much larger impact than what most business owners think. You know what I mean? Especially in like, that's where I'm getting really excited about is the being able to send stuff to customers later, but also their neighbors, because the neighbors definitely saw your guys working there.
100% they did. There's no question.
And then the handwritten to a customer means high touch. It's white glove. It's they took the time to do this. That builds trust. That builds confidence. That builds, oh man, they're going above and beyond. That's actually what that looks like.
100%.
That's what they're built. That's the perception that you're building. That's what I'm super excited about. And I've seen your guys' examples with handwritten. It looks incredible.
It's pretty cool. And it goes to the next one that we were talking about before the show started was we internalized our goodies, gift boxes, and packages. So we had a partner before, and some things just don't work out. We learned a lot. I had no intention to internalize dope marketing into like a gifting, boxing company. But when shit breaks, you got to fix it. And so I saw a problem. We thankfully own a print shop. Depending on when you guys are watching this, we actually just signed the lease for our new 20,000 square foot facility that we're in the process of moving into now. But what's going to happen in that facility is we're already doing this. It's boxes with your logo printed on it we have different types of boxes. So there's like a Cookie Monster one that's like cookies in a box with a handwritten note. There's a Sweet Tooth one that it's like, there's like some candy and then one of those like Fruit Loop Rice Krispie bars. There's a barbecue box that you can pick from, and you can set these up to go out automated. You can set up tags or filters in your CRM. So like if you mark a job over $4,000, this box goes out, and we have a team that can assist with that stuff. But we package it all internally. And so we're going to continue to get into like coffee mugs, chip clips, pizza cutters, just all that cool stuff that you've seen over the years. You're like, man, I wish I had time to figure that out, but I got to go run my business. So I can't really put this together. I ran out of time to do handwritten notes and all that stuff. The goodie gift boxes are one of the things that I'm super, super stoked about, because again, it just goes to this, put a name to it. It's recession-proof marketing. It's building reputation and brand recognition. You can use it for prospecting. You can use it for thank you, rewards, referral plans, references, like any of that stuff. And so Dope 2.0 is in a nutshell, Jake. It's everything that we've learned over the past 2 years about what works, what doesn't, what we can optimize, what we can improve. And our goal is to simply help businesses grow without lifting a finger. All this stuff's automated. I mean, you have a powerful piece of software that we built that you can log into at any time. We have users that signed up with us a year ago, and after they go through their 2-3 week onboarding, we have their automation set up. They know how to do everything. We don't talk to them all year. Like it's just moving. And so we're really excited because we've found something where we can really just help businesses do, again, businesses got 100 problems. We solve 4 of them perfectly: data, design, direct mail, automation.
Yeah, there's a lot to dive in there. The data part was really incredible. Like I said, the targeting is almost better than Facebook now. And that's like super exciting for me as a data guy. You're talking about attribution. To a lot of people, that may not mean anything, but to us as marketing people, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Attribution is huge. Facebook's attribution is getting so bad that it's turning into this.
Horrible. Yeah,
Meanwhile,
exactly.
direct mail is getting so good that you're able to attribute things through. It's really interesting how things are starting to swap. That doesn't mean you leave one for the other. It just means the approach is a bit different. With direct mail, all attribution means is you can spend smarter. You know when to cut, you know when to put. That's all that means. Otherwise, you have to look at things in totality. The next part is the automation, which is really, really big, right? Automation is going around a bunch. I think a lot of people are trying to over automate a lot of their business, but there's certain things that you're saying that you just don't need to be involved with. Like there's certain things that I think need to have some manual touch points. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to sales, things like that. Like you should be sending a reminder when the sales guy's on the way there. You don't have to necessarily automate that. Does that make sense? Like those touch points are great. But sending the gift, like you don't have to, that doesn't have to be manual. Yet that's one of the most manual pieces. Like in terms of if you do that manually, that's going to take up a lot of time.
How many of you people watching this can relate? Yeah. Like I know me and my wife used to do this. Like we would come home or stay at the office late and write the notes or pack the box. It got to the point I was doing 200,000 pieces of EDDM a month. We had banquet tables set up where we would get a pallet from Vistaprint, Gotprint, wherever, bundled, not faced. We printed all that shit out and did it ourselves, filled it out, loaded the trucks up, did the thing. It's another thing with Dope 2.0. We have EDDM on there. You can get on and we do it full service and drop ship it to your post office. You don't have to do the facing slips, the stuff, the whatever, because it's just another touch. It's a little bit cheaper. It works, whatever. But like Jake, like you were saying, success to me is defined by removing yourself from things in your business that don't require your hands. Like, look, no one's going to ever care as much as you. We're on the same page. Like, it's not going to be there. I think it was Gary Vee said, like, dude, if you have employees that care 65% as much as you, like, you're fucking winning hard.
Yeah.
And so, like, look at the things and don't, everyone wants to over automate GDP chat, do the zap. Like, oh, look, there are definitely things like an automated text message going out to your client, letting them know the crew is on the way. And probably every CRM in the painting, home service, whatever space does a version of that now. It's because it's important and it needs to be automated. I agree wholeheartedly, Jake, with what you're saying of like, there are things now, and again, I'm not going to say we have it all figured out at Dope Marketing, but we've got ahead of the ball on a little bit of this stuff. We've had some moments like we understand how long some of the stuff that we offer takes. We're not selling results. We're selling you back your time.
Massively. Massive time. Yeah. Like we do gifts here for our clients and we don't have nearly as many clients as a lot of people do. And it still takes one of my people like half a day to go get the gift, come back, have us all sign the card, like do all this kind of stuff. And like, there's certain, like the amount of time that all of that saves if you were to literally do it all yourself would be astronomical.
100%.
And it just makes no sense. You know what I mean? I just kind of want to stress that a little bit. Dope 2.0, how is it different from 1.0?
Yeah. So what it was is we had named the software Dope 360 for no reason. We're like, we cover all the bases. This makes sense. It's slick. And in an effort just to sunset that name, we're like, I looked at a couple companies that had done something like this. I'm like, 2.0, we're rocking with this the rest of the year. 2.1 isn't coming in August with some new, like we'll have new stuff, but for the rest of 2023, Dope 2.0 is what we're doing. It's new, improved. The tracking, the metrics, the transparency. What was happening before, Jake, is like we would sell off Sizzle. People would see like Neighborhood Blitz, like, holy shit, I can send mail in a shape and I can do that. But you sign up for 3 months, you refuse to communicate with us, you don't set your automations up, you won't respond to design, then you haven't used it in 3 months, you're hitting us up like, this doesn't work, I want to cancel. It's like, of course you do. You didn't listen to what we were saying. Like, I would want to cancel too. What we found is 9 out of 10 customers that have success working with Dope Marketing, and there's thousands of them, they have 2 automations set up minimum and they have their CRM connected. It's pretty simple. And now we make you do that. There's not really a choice. Like, with the launch of Dope 2.0, we have 3 packages. You guys can look at the website, look at that. I'm not going to sell on the webinar, but I'm sorry, on the podcast. But we also have a $79 account. So you get a 14-day free trial now. You come on, you're at the rate of our lowest account on that free trial, unless you want to upgrade. But at the end of the free trial, if you're like, I don't want to connect my CRMs, I don't want to use automations, I don't want to do this, we have a $79 account where you can go do whatever you want. We won't even bother you. You don't get an account rep. We actually won't talk to you on that account. But you have video training. You have everything that you want or need to send automated direct mail with no minimum order. We also, if you're on one of our higher accounts and you're not responding to design, not setting up automations, we will give you a credit for what you paid for and downgrade you to the $79 account, because we've seen, like, we understand how busy that business owners are. If you give us 2 to 3 weeks to get your account set up, get designs done, get automations set up, get the data from your CRM, pop the hood, see what we do in 2 to 3 weeks. If you allow us to do that and you use us the whole year, I cannot guarantee an ROI on anything. I'm a marketer. I would never do that. But what I will guarantee you is that if this does not show a positive ROI, I have 5 kids. I will mail you one of them and you can babysit them if this doesn't work for your business. Yes.
That's how confident you are.
Straight up. 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I think that is a big deal. So what all do they kind of like, we know a lot about, we're really excited because we partner with you guys for our clients as well. We're really excited about a lot of the playbooks. Can you dive into a little bit more of the playbooks and kind of like the different options, things like that they can do?
Absolutely. I'd love to. So the most standard playbook we have is the brick by brick. You need to build a foundation in the neighborhoods you're working in. And everyone, if you're working with us and you're on one of our packages, you have a CRM. When you mark a job approved or whatever that first status is, you sent out an estimate to Jake. Jake talked to the wife and said, yep, done deal, job approved. Let's get started. When you mark something approved, it triggers one postcard a week for 4 weeks in a row to the 25 nearest neighbors of that job. Hey, we just got your neighbor approved. They're going to get their house painted. Be on the lookout. Hey, the job is starting soon. Here's some information about our company. If you have any questions or want to get a hold of us, we're going to be working in your neighborhood. We know that means something to you. Hey, here's a project we just finished, plus a Google review on the other side of the card. Just let you know, like, we're not this fly-by-night trust. And by that third week, they're like, damn, these guys are on it. They must be huge. I'm getting a postcard every week. I never see this from anyone. Fourth week, you're like, here's a deal. We're about to wrap up this project, or we just did wrap up that project, because different industries have different timelines and we can work with that. But the idea is 4 postcards, 4 weeks in a row, nearest 25 neighbors, and it will raise the awareness. You will back this out after 90 days, and you will look at the neighbors of the jobs, the leads coming in, the questions getting asked, the jobs that you're closing over 90 days with the brick by brick strategy. As long as you're in, look, I'm in Minnesota. We're not power washing a ton in February. Fair to say, right? I'm not doing a brick by brick right now around my jobs because I'm not doing jobs. But whenever you hit that peak, like for us, it's the end of March in the Twin Cities here, we will start this strategy and it'll start hitting the neighbors of the jobs that we're doing, which transitions me into another strategy, which is called sweet spots. When you sign up for Dope, we sign our NDA, you upload your data, it's secure, upload, we'll never use it, we'll never sell it, we'll never do anything, but we'll show you how to use it. So you upload your data and we help you find the sweet spots. That's another playbook. There's a map similar to CRMs you guys have seen or whatever that'll drop pins for all your jobs. We can identify those neighborhoods. You know, it's that dope exercise I was explaining earlier on the call, where we'll show you where your pockets are. We'll help you identify an area. We'll do an exercise. You'll tell us who's the people you want to get in front of. Is there a certain profile, whatever? And we'll set up the same strategy. 1 postcard a week, 4 weeks in a row, to these sweet spots that your data is already telling a story, raising the awareness for your business in the neighborhoods. Another one of my favorite, I'll go through 2 more quick, and I got going for hours with this, but one other one I really like, it's called MTV Cribs. It uses our new Filter Blitz tool. Jake, where are you at in the country? Remind me.
We're in East Tennessee. Johnson
in East Tennessee, Jake could go in and say, in East Tennessee, the people that I like to paint their houses or wash their siding or put on their solar or whatever, they have a home over $800,000 and it's over 4,000 square feet. The MTV Cribs playbook, it leans a little bit harder on the design and the template side around like higher end. So you're talking about like, hey, we work on homes like yours, and you're highlighting a project of a bigger home or something like that. Here's the processes and procedures we take. We wear booties on the job site. We background check all of our employees. We're all in uniform. We're all trained and certified in this thing. You highlight what makes you different, especially for those higher end customers. You go back and we got a postcard that highlights a couple reviews. Here are people just like you. You can trust us. Da, 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 da. You don't tell them that they're ballers, but you identify the checks that a baller needs versus someone else.
Use their language.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's what these playbooks are. It's identifying an audience, having proven templates, and then at the end, it's a consistent offer. You know the foot in the door. I know, like my cleaning company. We do gutter cleaning. The number one service we get leads for is gutter cleaning. But my highest profit service is when I get into these gated communities and get in front of a baller and send 2 guys out there and get $6,000 out of a day for cleaning the backboard on the basketball thing, the driveway, all this stupid stuff. It's great stuff they want done. I shouldn't call it. But they have these checklists of expensive things that we can charge, a rate for, where we just go hourly into those jobs. So we would like to know for customers, especially for these MTV Cribs playbooks, what's the number one service that you make the most money off of? So for us, it's those multi-day, multi-crew jobs, but we generate the most leads if you look at our historic data over the past 13 years for gutter cleaning, which is a great margin service. So we throw a deal in for gutter cleaning to these bigger houses. There's a strategy. So we'll interview companies and we'll get this data to apply it to these strategies, because that's what Dope 2.0 is. It's the ability to see the data that we've acquired from our customers and apply it. So the last one that I like to talk about is our new mover playbook. So 50 to 150,000 people buy a home in the United States every single week. these people. So if Jake lives at 123 Main Street and Dave moves in next door to 125 Main Street, Dave is going to spend $8,000 to $12,000 in cash more than Jake within 60 days on a new painter, a new handyman, a new mechanic, a new restaurant, a new golf course, a new whatever. But the most important thing about these people, the lifetime value. The average homeowner is going to live in their house for 5 to 7 years. So if you have customers or you offer a service where it's not just a one and done, I get you might only paint the outside of someone's house every 10 years, but what if they have a kid and want to paint some rooms? What if they're doing their floors? What if they're doing something else? So unlike a Facebook, Google, door knocking, AdWords, TikTok, whatever, smoke signal lead, that they might move next year. They might be prepping for sale. They might be knowing that something's coming and whatever. With a new home buyer, if you invest in these people, you're going to statistically live in that house for 5 to 7 years. So you get your foot in the door, say, hey, Dave's Carpet Cleaning is the #1 company in town. Welcome to the neighborhood. Here's an exclusive deal. You get your hooks in them as a customer. Now, if you have repeat business that works, so the new home buyer playbook, you can give us your zip code, your service area in East Tennessee with a 10-mile radius. We pull every zip code in a 10-mile radius, and you'll get a feed every week. And these go in a cycle. So it's still week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Certain areas, depending on the volume, we go as deep as a 6-week cycle. But you're building up with the new home buyer. So on week 1, January or March 1st, let's say you started this. Week 1, March 1st, week 1 is going to drop. Week 2, week 1 is going to get their second card. Week 1 is going to get their first card, and so on. And it's welcome to the neighborhood. Here's who we are. Here's what we do. Here's where we're at and what you guys are here. I'm a broken record with this shit because the strategy is all relative. We're putting tiny little billboards in the mailbox that go along with all your other marketing strategies. That's why we work with people like Jake and with other agencies that are vertical specific to go and say, what are you doing? Let's take those strategies that you already know your client, your customer, and what's working. We have industry specific stuff. Let's tie that together and make real cross-channel marketing strategies. So just like that Home Depot example we gave before, you're raising awareness, but only to the right customers, which are usually the neighbors or targeted areas where your data is telling a story.
Yeah. The new buyers is a really big, I didn't even think about it that way. The lifetime value of them is tremendous, right? Every 7 years they're moving. That's also the amount of time that it usually takes. Paint jobs usually last about 7 years, right? That's kind of like the average 5 to 10, depending, whatever.
The painting stuff, right?
But that usually means that they're painting when they first move in and then when they're moving out, whatever that looks like. But also there's all the stuff that happens within there. But the other part of it that I think that's kind of not looked at too much is if you can get in with them right away, you become like their guy.
Your choice.
Every single of the neighbors that they are building relationships with, they're going to school functions, rubbing elbows with people. And they're like, yeah, we moved in. We use this company. They're fantastic. They become and if you continue to hit them, they can become some of your biggest evangelists.
Soapbox. If you got them in this cycle when they moved in, they got a handwritten note, the process was explained to them, they got a box of cookies at the end. What are they going to be talking about at parent-teacher conferences?
Yes. We call those talk triggers from Jay Baer, if you've seen that.
Yep.
Talk triggers. Like what they talk about is competence doesn't start conversations. You doing what you said you were going to do isn't worth talking about at the dinner table.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Like,
expected.
Can you guys believe it? They came in and did exactly what they said they were going to do. That's not something you're going to bring up. But if you guys have, and we focus a lot on customer experience, but especially at the end with handwritten cards, gifts going out, things like that. That's why we love those things, talk triggers. That's something that's worth mentioning, right? And it may not be, oh, you should hire that company because they sent me a gift box. No, it's actually just because it keeps that top of mind. It's like, oh, you talked about needing painting, HVAC, whatever it may be. The fact that they see your mug in their house on a constant basis. One of our favorite things, obviously, I don't know if this is even possible with you guys, but one of our favorite things was to do cutting boards that have been burned, like the logo burned on it.
If anyone hasn't read Giftology, it's written by one of the top Cutco guys. If you don't have Giftology, you're probably going to get it in the mail if you're a dope user, because we're actually sending that book out to a bunch of people. But one of the Cutco guys actually spoke at an event I was just at recently, one of the new top Cutco guys or whatever. And they talk about a perishable item like food versus something like a knife or a cutting board or something like that they're going to use. So one thing we are doing at Dope, Jake, depending on if people are watching this live or if it's coming, we'll have this done in a couple weeks right after the launch. as we move into the new facility. Mm-hmm. The different boxes have a perishable item and another. So we have one that has like a pizza cutter. We have another one that has a chip clip. We want you living in their fucking cupboard the whole time when they're doing, like, think if you had a chip, how often do you need a chip clip? Always.
Oh my God. All the time.
Always.
Yeah.
We're making them. I'm going
Especially
to be a manufacturer of chip clips. But any of it, a coffee mug, a thing. Look, no one's going to wear your company stuff. Mm-hmm. We got lucky. We give away dope hoodies and people like them and whatever. But like, most of the time, if you give out a corporate, like if you go to a trade show and IBM gives you a polo, are you going to wear your IBM polo repping IBM? Probably not. Yeah. But if you can give someone a usable, tangible thing, like we were talking about Josh Nelson from Seven Figure Agency. Mm-hmm. Dude, they sent me this box and Josh has got the sexiest mug in there. It feels nice. It's slick. It's just like a good high-end. I enjoy when that mug is clean and I grab it. And every time I grab it, I think of Josh, and he did it. It was right. So these little items, short answer, Jake, is yes, it is possible with us. We're not going to get into like build your own box stuff, mm-hmm. but you're going to have an option of different boxes that include an item. And let us do the thinking for you on this one, guys. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Like we have it pretty figured out with what item goes where and why it's in there and that type of stuff. But the power behind that, dude, it gets
I think that's really what I wanted to press into. It doesn't necessarily matter too much on like what it is. It's the fact that the action's happening. It just helps set you apart. It's such a high value thing. Like we love value based offers, things like that, because the impact that they have versus how much they cost there's a very big difference there, right? Huge. Giving a discount costs you 15%, but if you give a free service, that service retail value may be $800, but it costs you $100 to do. Absolutely. Right. So the perceived value there, same thing with gifts, the perceived value of something may be significantly higher than the value that they're actually getting. And so you're leveraging, it's high leverage activities. And I think that those are really, really key. And I think that seems like dope. You guys like seem to be the masters of just simplifying high leverage activities. You know what I mean? Where it's very low touch, like you're hitting a few buttons, yet it's moving really big mechanisms that can really affect the business and the perception of the business, the brand moving forward. Does that sound correct?
We were talking about this in a meeting the other day. So I was like, I really value my time, mm-hmm. and I value my clients' time just as much. And I understand that like when you can put business owners in a position to where effective things are happening that they're not having to spend time on, that's how you provide the most value. I mean, that's our goal. We want to help businesses grow. Yeah, we want to make money and do stuff and whatever. But when it comes down to it, like if we're not solving problems, then we shouldn't be in business. And so what we found is like Dope 2.0 is lasering in on the focus of the problems that we solve to be able to provide value for our clients.
I love it. Awesome. Do you have anything else that you kind of wanted to chat about or talk about on the podcast?
Oh, man, I think the biggest thing for me is just beating into the brains or gently inserting into the brains of business owners. It's your job to provide a good experience for your customers. Jake, you hit it a ton. I took some notes around the talk triggers, the things that help a customer. You were talking about Jay Bear. Having the ability to really give your customers that experience. They're not going to go tell everyone that it was so great that you did what you said you were going to do. But from start to finish, if you can really focus on those small items, I like the saying 1440 is the most important number in the world because it's how many minutes you have during the day. And if you can allocate a certain amount of those minutes to increasing that experience that your customers have, we all know time is our most valuable asset. But if you can give people just a little bit of your time to create more of that emotion, you're going to be going in the right direction.
I love it. Awesome, man. How can people get in touch with you?
We're kind of easy to find. Dope, DOPE marketing. If you type us in on Facebook, you might get this weird little warning that you're trying to buy drugs on the internet. I promise you're not. It's just us. We're trying to talk to Facebook about that. They're not listening very hard. But dopemarketing.com. Find us on Facebook. Search us on Google. We are the big black and red brand yelling about direct mail.
I love it. Thank you so much for your time, Dave. Again, if you guys are interested in doing this stuff, either hit up, if you're working with an agency like us, we are partnered with them. Otherwise, hit them up on their website. You guys can contact them. We'll also link all their stuff down below and any sort of content where you're seeing this. It'll be linked. Thank you so much for your time, Dave. I think we had a blast. I think we got a lot of value out of it.
Thanks a lot.
Cool. See you guys. See you on the next episode.